Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought to yourself, wow, I cannot believe that this is my life? Well, if that's you, I so get you. Hi, I'm Dr. Isabel, medical doctor and founder of Doctor on a Mission. And yes, I'm a real medical doctor. I've switched over to functional medicine. And look, the reason I'm here with you lovely women, helping you with your journey on entrepreneurville is because I want to tell you a little bit about my story as an entrepreneur that happened about 7 years ago with anxiety and depression. In 2013, I launched my business called Doctor on a Mission, and I did the best I could. I mean, I found myself being a doctor, a wife, a mother, and now an entrepreneur, something I had never learned in medical school. And then a year later, by that time I was about 53, and I found myself totally overwhelmed, hopeless, feeling totally anxious. And when I get anxious, this is what happens to me. I go to sleep. I'm able to fall asleep for about 2 or 3 hours, and then I stay awake thinking, those thoughts that stay in your mind. So I was thinking, and I would not sleep. And that went on for 17 nights. Get this, 17 nights of not sleeping any more than 2 hours every night. And by the end of 17 nights, I tried to take my life twice in 3 days. Me, a medical doctor, a fearless leader of my patients. I mean, that's not supposed to happen to me. I've never been taught how to take care of myself with anxiety and depression. I always take care of everybody else. And by the grace of God, I got help. And I was taken to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist put me on antidepressants. But the most important thing this psychiatrist did was he put me to sleep. And I slept for 2 weeks. And I am so grateful I slept for 2 weeks because I so needed that. And then he said, Isabel, you need to be on antidepressants for the rest of your life. And I was like, whoa, no way, no way. I just knew in the pit of my stomach that was not the right thing. But I was like, I am definitely going to be obedient. Hi, Priscilla. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you joining. That's really important. I'm all here all the way down from New Zealand. Anyway, I was on the antidepressants and I was obedient, and I'm not against antidepressants, okay? I'm a medical doctor. I know how to treat patients with antidepressants. That's what we're taught to do. However, I knew in the pit of my stomach that there was a better way. And so what I did is I went on a 5-year journey. And during this 5-year journey, you know how it is. You're the same as me. We learn a lot of things and we spend a lot of money. And that's exactly what I did. I spent a lot of money, thousands of dollars, and I made a lot of painful mistakes. But here's the deal. I discovered the many areas that cause anxiety and depression that we're not taught in medical school. So if you go to your doctor and you start talking about all these things with your doctor, don't expect them to understand this because we're not taught this in medical training anywhere around the world. So here's the deal. That's where I was 7 years ago. I went on this journey, and then now, 2021, I'm off my antidepressants. I've learned to overcome anxiety and depression naturally, okay? And I'm not here shaming or guilting anybody who's on antidepressants. I'm just letting you know that after me listening to over 500,000 patients one-on-one over the last 30 years of being a medical doctor, those that are on antidepressants and aren't happy with it, then they want to come off, and because they're sick and tired of the side effects. And so I get that. And so that's who I'm talking about. I'm talking to those who want to come off antidepressants naturally. And so now I'm off it. I'm dealing with things naturally. I know how to stay far, far away from anxiety and depression. I know how to stay away and not serve up any dishes on the buffet of anxiety and depression. And so that's what I'm here talking to you about, is to talk about the many areas that cause anxiety and depression. So I want to go through them and look. not every single one of these is for you. This is just a big, it's like a fan, it's like a menu that could be causing the anxiety and depression, okay? And the big thing that I learned is how to learn how to be the boss of my brain. And that's something that we're not taught, right? We're not taught to not ponder on every negative thought that we have. So here are the 14 things that I have learned that cause anxiety and depression. Now, I'm not going to go through the 14 right now because it's too deep. I'll go ahead and talk about the rest next week. But today I'll see what I can get through, okay? So the first one is nutrition. Oh my gosh, nutrition is so important. And you know what? If I wanted to cause anybody to have anxiety and depression, here's the prescription I'd give them. I'd give them a prescription to eat all the sugar they want all day long. Eat all the processed food they want all day long. Because you know what happens is your blood sugar goes up and then it goes down. I'd say go ahead and have as much ice cream as you want. Go ahead and have the cookies and the bickies, depending on where you are. I'm down under, so we say bickies here. Go ahead and have all the sandwiches and hamburgers and candy and lollies that you want, okay? Have all the cheesecakes you want. Gosh, when I used to eat cheesecake, I love cheesecakes. But anyway, the thing is, when you eat it, yeah, you're happy, but then your blood sugar goes up and then your blood sugar goes down. So the way I teach this is think about your nutrition. Start eating live, real food because your body needs real food. I didn't learn that in medical school. I didn't learn to eat well. Really, I did not. We don't learn nutrition. Whoops. We just don't learn any kind of nutrition. The next is sleep. Well, if there's anybody out there thinking that they can get by on 6 to 7 hours, 6 hours of sleep, you're absolutely, what's the word? What's the nice word? You're absolutely off track. Our bodies need 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Really well. And if you're going through perimenopause or menopause, this is what I learned, we start losing our ability to sleep because our melatonin starts going down. So make sure you are getting your good sleep. That's so important. The next is stress. How are we dealing with stress? I mean, all of us, you and I, we're women. We know how to go for it. That's why we're all entrepreneurs, right? I mean, you're not an entrepreneur and a wimp. No, you are a go-getter. And that's what I love about this group. We're all real go-getters. So you got to learn how to deal with stress. How are you turning off? For me, my husband and I, Chef Michael and I, we have learned the hard way to turn off, to turn off for 36 hours every day. So what we do is Saturday night, by 6 o'clock, we don't do any social media. We don't look at our computers. Actually, I have learned to turn off my computer. Can you believe that? I shut it down and let it get rebooted until we come back 36 hours later. So we come back Monday morning refreshed and ready to rock and roll. And we just have a good time, and that's how we de-stress. So that might be something for you to consider, okay? So that's 3 so far: nutrition, sleep, and stress. The next is hormones. Oh my gosh. I never realized that women can go through a deep depression and anxiety without their estrogen. Estrogen is so important for us. So if you are going through perimenopause or menopause, make sure that you find a functional medical doctor that does your hormones, that checks your hormones, and then talk to them about bioidentical hormones. Bioidentical hormones are like body identical. Bio is what your body is. Body, B-O-D-Y, body identical. It's what your body creates. And when we're going through menopause, it starts going down. I had no idea that estrogen would make such a big deal in my life. So My pleasure, Vanessa. Let me know if you have any questions about this. And just a little scary insight, which I didn't know until, I began my 5-year journey, is most women, and I'm just saying this just so that you are forewarned, okay? Most women who commit suicide will do it between the ages of 45 and 61. And that's in America, Australia, and New Zealand. So let's just think about what's happening during that time. Let's just think about that, And then also when you're breastfeeding, your hormones, when you're pregnant, after your pregnancy, your hormones can go out of whack and you can go into prenatal depression. Find a functional medical doctor wherever you are. You can go to the Institute of Functional Medicine.org and type in where to locate a functional medical doctor, and then you can find one and they can help you with that, because we're taught in that area, okay? So anyway, thinking about why do we go through menopause and perimenopause and not deal with that? I mean, my poor psychiatrist didn't even think about talking to me about my estrogen. He didn't know. How did he know? He wouldn't have ever known. He would have never been taught. So yes, antidepressants help for a while, but they're not the solution. And so that's what I'm talking about, is the ground, looking at the ground for the solution. So yes, I am an advocate of bioidentical hormones. They have saved me, and my husband is super happy that I'm on them because I'm thinking better. And just another aside, if we don't have good estrogen, women don't think. I also help women and men around the world reverse dementia and Alzheimer's through the Dr. Dale Bredesen program. He taught me, gosh, there's so much I could talk to you about, but I've only got a half an hour. But anyway, Dr. Dale Bredesen, if you haven't read that book, The End of Alzheimer's, people do not have to have Alzheimer's. People don't have to die from dementia or Alzheimer's. It's reversible. It's preventable. So read that book. And one of the things that I learned by being trained from him is that 2/3 of the people who have memory loss and who have dementia are women. Well, let's look at it. Most of it, a lot of it has to do with our hormones. And estrogen is so important for our memory. The fifth one, and this is going to be the last one that I talk about, but I'll come back next week and talk some more, is ACE. Now, this is something that I never learned about. I just learned about it. It's called Adverse Childhood Experiences. Does anybody have any adverse childhood experiences that you had that you can remember? Oh, I did. I come from mother and father, both of them. I love. My father's gone, but they're both Cuban. They left Cuba about 2 years before Fidel Castro took over and made it communist. And I'm so grateful for that. But Daddy was an alcoholic, and that's how he dealt with his stress. How many of us grew up in dysfunctional families, walking around on eggshells, just waiting for the next blast when they were going to slap you, spank you, point the gun at you, whatever. So a lot of people that have gone through adverse childhood experiences come out on the other end as if they were in war, experiencing PTSD. Anyway, the point is, I'm not going to go into all the different areas of adverse childhood experiences, but you can Google adverse childhood experiences and get your score. And here's something that I found out. If your score is greater than 1,200, if your score is greater than 4, then you have a 1,200% increased risk of suicide. That's a lot. That's deep. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining. Where are you guys coming from? I'm all the way down from New Zealand. Yes. And it's Monday here. Wherever you are, let me know where you are. I'd love to know. So those are the 5 big areas that I learned on my journey of overcoming anxiety and depression. Cool. Canada. I love Canada. It's so beautiful. Great skiing. So those are the big 5 areas that I've learned about anxiety and depression to help me come back from my suicide attempts. And look, I'm not proud of it, But I'm really grateful that I went through that experience. I'm glad that it's way over there, and now I'm here and I'm making my mess into a message because, oh my gosh, do we have so much mental unwellness out there. And that's another thing about it. I don't call it mental illness anymore. I'm so adverse to that name. It's not mental illness. It's learning how to take care of your brain, because your brain controls the rest of your body. And so we're just learning all the different areas that cause mental unwellness. So in today's episode, we've talked about nutrition, sleep, just briefly, because I can go deep on all these, but nutrition, sleep, stress, hormones, and adverse childhood experiences. Now, I want to let you know that I've created a private Facebook group called the Bossy Brain Solution, how I overcame anxiety and depression, and how you can too naturally. I'm not against antidepressants. I'm not against medications. I'm a medical doctor. I know how to marry the two. But I know that there's another way, a natural way, if you're interested. So if you are, just check the link and come join us. I'd be honored. In the meantime, we got Kathy from Georgia, USA, Sunday night. Loved your message. Thank you so much. Take care too, honey. And God bless. And until next time, which will be the same time this time next week, remain unstoppable, ladies. You each have a wonderful message and a business to share with this world. And I now know what that journey is like. So rock on. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Oh, before we go, if you have any questions, just leave it in the message below. I promise to come back and answer it, okay? All right, bye-bye.